Every tank has a father. No armored giant appears out of thin air. Behind every legendary machine lies a long chain of experiments, failures, and bold engineering ideas. The German tank family tree is one of the most fascinating in military history, stretching from crude steel boxes of World War I to today's digitally networked main battle tanks. This is the story of how German armor evolved, step by step, into some of the most feared and respected fighting vehicles ever built.
The suspension is barely holding the weight.
The story begins during World War I.
We need to check the track alignment
entered
further
the
down.
age of armored warfare.
Ensure the center of gravity is precise before we move.
While the Allies deployed hundreds of tanks, Germany focused mainly on anti-tank tactics. Still, by 1918, German engineers produced the A7V.
Die Federung ist unzureichend für dieses Gewicht.
Ja, wir brauchen stärkere Drehgebe.
The A7V was less a tank and more a rolling steel bunker. It was massive, boxy, and intimidating, requiring a staggering crew of 18 men to operate its main cannon and 6 machine guns. Inside, conditions were brutal hot, loud, and filled with fumes. But the A7V proved that Germany could build armored fighting vehicles when pushed. Learning from captured British tanks, German designers attempted to improve the concept with the A7V. This experimental vehicle featured tracks that wrapped all the way around the hull, similar to British rhomboid tanks. On paper, it looked more advanced than the A7V, but in reality, its high center of gravity made it unstable and difficult to control. Only one prototype was built, and it never saw combat, but it demonstrated Germany's willingness to adapt and experiment. At the same time, engineers were also working on lighter designs. The Leichter Kampfwagen II, or LK2, was a small, agile tank with a fully rotating turret, something the A7V lacked. Although the war ended before it could enter service, the LK2's design did not die. It was sold to Sweden, where it became that nation's first armored vehicle, quietly spreading German tank DNA beyond Germany's borders. Perhaps the most ambitious World War I German tank project was the K-Wagen, also known as the Großkampfwagen. This was a true super-heavy monster, weighing around 120 tons and carrying multiple cannons and machine guns. It was so large that it had to be transported in pieces by rail and assembled near the battlefield. The K-Wagen never reached combat before the war ended, but it showed that German engineers were already thinking in extremes, an attitude that would return decades later. After Germany's defeat in 1918, the Treaty of Versailles banned the development and production of tanks. On paper, German armor development was dead. In reality, it simply went underground. Throughout the 1,920 seconds, Germany secretly continued tank research under the cover of civilian projects and foreign cooperation. One such vehicle was the Leichttraktor, or Leichttraktor, a deceptively named test vehicle designed to experiment with armor, suspension, and tactics. These vehicles were tested in secret at a joint German-Soviet facility in the USSR, far from Allied inspectors. Alongside it came the Großtraktor, a larger and heavier experimental tank. Tested extensively at the Common Tank School, the Großtraktor helped German engineers refine ideas about crew coordination, mobility, and firepower. These tanks were never meant for mass production, but they were invaluable classrooms on tracks, shaping the doctrine that would later become Blitzkrieg. By the early 1930 seconds, Germany began openly rearming, and tank development accelerated rapidly. One of the key stepping stones toward heavy tanks was the Durchbruchswagen, meaning breakthrough vehicle. The Durchbruchswagen I, built by Henschel, focused on thick armor and a strong suspension system. Though crude, it marked the first real ancestor of the Tiger tank lineage. The improved Durchbruchswagen II refined these concepts further, increasing armor protection and mechanical reliability. These vehicles laid the engineering foundation for Germany's future heavy panzers,